homies.
Hey, homies.
Hey, homies.
Well, we said we were going to have to come back and redo it all.
Here we
putting
are.
our money where our mouth is.
This is going to be
Let's
such a
do
long journey. We didn't get the last one complete.
What does that say about us?
There's a lot of abilities in Dota 2.
Yeah. And then we like playing more than we like.
We like playing more than we like making these videos. Oops. Sorry to spoil it for you guys. So I just want to point out real quick, last time we did the tier list, I was very organized and I made sure that everything was in alphabetical order, much to my own chagrin because it was a pain in the ass to do it every time. Now, I just put it all in random because I really don't want to order everything, including 126 new heroes.
So this will be good because some abilities we will have not put in a tier list before, so there'll definitely be at least new content. You know, we're not just going to go through the ABCs again and you guys see the same ones. So
Correct.
Maybe a little bit. And we put heroes in, obviously, as some of you have mentioned in the last video's comments. Heroes will be in this now, and that's going to be a little interesting for us to kind of figure out how we're going to judge that and assign them a rating in the tier list, because, you know, everything's now in AD. Part of the shtick. Pick your hero. We saw a comment recently that said they think that picking your hero is like 90% is important or something. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, he made a good point though, which is you may take a good ability, but you're stuck with your hero for the entirety of the game. So, another thing, this is just another disclaimer, is that Joel pointed out we don't know which facets don't work and which innates don't work per se, because there's some things like PA's evasion, which got changed to not work for some reason.
Ringmaster, we know.
Ringmasters doesn't work. There are a few heroes where their innates are disabled in AD. We're probably going to miss some, so just warning you about that in advance. Alright, so you boys want to start off with what's here, which is Chemical Rage.
That's a good first ability.
We're starting strong.
It no longer gives you Greevil's Greed.
So it's not as strong.
Not as strong.
Correct, but it's still pretty good.
It is still a very good ability. I mean, you're going to pick it up probably first pick still.
Yeah, is it in the insta-pick still? I think so.
Yeah, it is probably still an insta-pick, even without Greevil's Greed.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
I agree. It's really just, would you rather have Techies or Chemical Rage? We said that in our first impressions of the patch. You still pick Chemical Rage. So we're just going to put it right back
Just
to where
right
it was
up.
before.
Yep, very top.
Nothing different. Alright, here's one that we actually never got to with our original tier list, which is Unstable Concoction.
It's a good stun. The charge up, though, is like, obviously it's a skill shot in a way, even though it is a more reliable stun, you'd say, than most skill shots. This one, you know, just has the added timing.
Yeah, this is a rare spell that does physical damage, so it actually is amped up by like minus armor. It's also one of those rare spells that you can still deny with. Like,
You can still deny yourself.
And I think most of the time you take this, Joel, it is actually a first or second pick. So I think it's generally picks 1 to 2.
It's a good stun AoE.
Gives you some movement speed when you pop it.
Exactly. The max stun is good. 3.2 seconds is long.
It's a long stun, but I think that the drawback is, though, that the enemy can see it coming. It's kind of a slow projectile. I think it's barely a second pick.
Really?
I don't think it's close to first pick.
Generally
But
picks 1
I think
to 2.
1 to 2 is still a fine.
Bottom of
category.
1 to 2. Though.
Bottom of 1 to 2, maybe.
Yeah, mid 1 to 2, bottom 1 to 2. We'll see where it ends up, but I think it's pretty good.
I mean, right now it's number 1 in 1 to 2.
Right now it's top.
Second highest ability in the game right now.
Alright, next up is Spark Wraith. This one's kind of fallen off a bit for me because I remember at one point it got nerfed quite hard, and Eggs really used to be like this massive power spike where you'd get Spark Wraith and you could just absolutely shuck people with magic damage from like way outside the range. But now it has that delay, which means the activation isn't as reliable, and before you could just almost always hit it, now you can't. It actually goes pretty undrafted a lot of the time.
And also they cut the duration that it stays on the ground. Like, I swear they cut it in half at one point because it used to just last forever, and now it's like way less. You could just like throw them down everywhere on your screen and just use them as like vision wards, basically, where the enemies can't walk.
It does still technically synergize with your eggs. The egg still works, it's just not as good. It's probably best with an Aftershock build because of 4-second cooldown.
It's actually egg shard now. They removed it.
Oh, okay. There you go. I forgot about
That's
the flux
interesting.
eggs.
That is interesting.
See, these are the types of things, boys. I never play Arc Horde, and I'll just give you that spoiler.
And it's
None
a
of us
different
do.
upgrade, too.
Yeah.
Different mechanic that we haven't really played with, so maybe that would bump its ratings if we played with it. The shard was super strong, so, but
I think
our
it's
experience.
situationally reasonable.
Yeah, I don't think it's any better than situationally reasonable. It's pretty underwhelming, honestly.
It really is. All right, next up is Earthshock.
Earthshock almost always picked with Enrage, ironically.
Correct. You really got to have that shard to make work of it.
I mean, it is a little bit of movement. You get to hop forwards lately. In lane, you can secure last hits if you're melee.
It's got a good slow, actually. 4
slow
seconds.
is decent. Low cooldown, low mana cost.
It's a good spell last pick on a carry, like melee hero model. I think it's generally picks 3 to 4, maybe at the end.
Yeah, 3 to
it's
4.
not strong just as a base ability. Again, usually paired with Enrage.
All right, here we go, boys.
All right,
Wow, it's
Slark,
the
our
first
first
hero model.
And a decent one after the big Barracuda buff.
Yeah.
Also, maybe Dark Path Facet? Depth Shroud?
Dark Reach?
What is it?
Oh, Depth Shroud, the
Depth
shard.
Shroud. Yeah, maybe Depth Shroud works. Maybe it doesn't. On other heroes, we still don't know because we haven't had that experience yet. But before, Depth Shroud was useless and broken unless you were on a Slark.
Correct.
So that made Slark more valuable because no one would pick Slark's ult unless it was himself, really.
Yeah, Slark kept his innate in AD. I know that for sure because I think Joel played it.
Yeah, and it's
Joel,
crazy
you like
good.
doing the Tether Barracuda, right? That's just like the combo.
It's insane, Tether Barracuda. Especially when you hit level 2. Look, level 1, health gain per second is 5. Level 2, 70.
That is a big jump.
You
That
do
is
at
an
level 6, you just
insane
get
jump.
crazy.
Yeah, and you're tethered to someone gaining 70 health per second.
How valuable is a Slark model in the draft, though? Because
mean,
he's just terrible base
The
stats.
drawback is all the stats.
He was undrafted in the one game we've seen him so far.
Probably for a
Yeah.
good reason. I don't think this hero is really that good unless you're literally building around Barracuda and have Shadow Dance maybe even.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're probably not going to pick Slark. Like
I guess
ever.
if you get like the one Tether build, though, you take the Slark. Or,
Yeah.
you know, if you are trying to play a hero that has a lot of night vision, because I believe Slark has the highest base night vision of any hero in the game.
Yeah, I think he does have the best night vision.
So he's actually good for scouting and stuff like that. And he does naturally catch wards, right? So he's actually a good support model. So I don't think he goes in situationally reasonable. I think he's in generally picks 3 to 4, actually.
3 to 4, yeah.
Just because, sometimes when you're on a support hero, you actually do want to take the Slark model and kind of play that vision game.
We have to redo it.
What?
We have a 5th round now. We literally don't have a column for picks 5th.
Oh my god.
I didn't even think of that.
You literally just said that pick round. I was like, well, what if you 5th pick him? And then I go, wait, we don't even have a f***ing column for 5th picks.
All right, boys.
Oh
Joel's
my
out
God.
here.
1
Last
to 2, 3
pick.
to 4, 4 to
We're
5,
kind of
5,
trashing on
6,
Slark
last
pretty
pick.
hard. The vision thing is actually kind of...
It is nutty.
Yeah, the warding part and stuff, but then you also have to be on your yeah, no, your
1800 vision range at nighttime? That is unchanged from daytime.
Yeah, that's insane.
I actually didn't realize it was
That's
that good.
I
Holy
didn't
sh**.
That's large.
So Slark good at night.
Slark is good at night. Maybe he goes and generally picks 3 to 4 then.
Let's bump him up a little bit because I think
Yeah.
the de-warding capabilities is really OP.
If you have 3 good abilities, you pick Slark 4th pick, I'm fine with that.
I don't think he's a core model. Don't pick him as a core.
No. Also, you could take the Barracuda Lingers as your facet, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
confirm it, but hopefully. Hopefully you can.
Hopefully it works.
It used to.
Well, there we go. All right, next up, Lycan. Definitely going to be more of a carry model here. What are we looking at for Lycan in picks? It's decent, but
Melee hero just means it's really not ever going to be first or second pick.
Yeah, it's, I mean, his stats are pretty bad as well. He just is a big strength hero. Move speed, 305, okay.
His innate's pretty good, though, isn't it?
His
Doesn't he
innate
deal-
is just 2% extra damage
Per
to
hero
neutral
level.
creeps per hero level.
so
It's actually not bad. Any
20%.
flat
For
percent
farming,
damage.
yeah.
Yeah. Take cleave.
But it's only to neutral creeps, right? So it's such a weird, like,
That's weird.
Not
it's
even
like,
lane creeps.
if you pick up Shapeshift on a Lycan, you're probably happy.
Shapeshift is really his core, like, enabler, I think.
Other than
He's
that,
really slow and kind of easy to train besides that.
his mana pool's not great.
I do think he's probably picks 4 to 5. Like, I think he gets picked when he's in a draft just because he is, like, a bigger strength hero and you'd rather take him over something like a bristleback model or something.
I feel like in a draft, usually, I feel like a lot of these are going to be like, if they're anywhere near the mid tier of a hero, we just put them like 3 to 4 because most of the time people are picking their hero in the 3 to 4th draft, right? They're picking their hero either instantly or they're picking 3 abilities and then their hero and then the last ability, almost always.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
we've seen. So this is like basically like a 3rd, 4th pick, so I'd put it almost in the same column as Slark, which is 3 to 4.
I think Slark's like a tier above Lycan.
Yeah, I think Lycan's a lot worse than Slark.
Is
Yeah.
it 4 to 5?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's pretty bad. I don't think you're ever really, like, get me Lycan before the 5th pick.
All right,
Agreed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Next up is another ability that we never got to. Wow, wow, wow.
Broken.
Sticky Napalm.
A comborino.
It is a lot better now that there's the facet that gets you to the 5th level, which is his old shard, where he gets to attack and apply.
Arsonist.
Yeah, there you go.
Every single attack gets
Yep.
one application of sticky napalm.
Yeah, pretty nutty. Apparently it's very broken in AD. I have not assembled it yet, but I've seen clips on Reddit that have been showing its potential, and yeah, it seems quite good.
If you want to go support, it's decent. You can combo it with other spells that have dots, or you can try to go core and have a big magic build with sticky napalm going the arsonist facet. So there's a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah, it's nice mixed damage on a carry build. There's also a couple combos like a crippling fear or whatever. Liquid fire is obviously kind of a classic. Anything that spams and does damage over time is just gonna synergize. You know the ability. So I think it's generally picks 1 to 2.
1 to 2, yeah. I still think it's mainly a 2. Like, you're probably not gonna... I don't like first picking it personally, but...
No, like I'd be comfortable with it top of 2 to 3 or very bottom of 1 to 2.
I think it's more likely to be bottom of 1 to 2 because the facet actually does seem quite broken.
Yeah, the facet is a big thing, actually.
When it has every single attack applies a stack, because before, remember, the shard was every other attack.
You got a little fury swipes.
Yeah,
attack
exactly.
Yeah, it is kind of nice, actually. Let's put it up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it above unstable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, next up is Wild Axes. Wow. This used to be like a first pickable ability when the Ags used to give you 0 cooldown Wild Axes. Throwback, boys, if you
That is
remember
a
that.
good
That was
throwback.
crazy.
But yeah, now it's been nerfed quite a bit, so the damage amp is harder to stack up unless you're hitting them. I like it middle a lot of the time. I feel like you can just toss them over the river and hit the guy and
Get last hits.
get last hits, zone them basically with one spell. Scales really nicely in the mid lane. But besides that, the utility is pretty weak. It cuts down trees, falls
Yeah.
off a cliff in terms of scaling.
It's really cheap mana cost, so you can really do it on basically any hero.
If you have a big int hero though, and you have a lot of stacks, it can become deadly in lane.
Mhm.
It has been decent as a laning ability, but
I
not
don't think it's
crazy.
amazing. I think it's picks 4 to 5 generally.
It's just like, yeah, 4 to 5, really.
Yeah, I've seen it go undrafted.
Really? I feel like it's a two,
I think it's like
a
a
3 to
pretty
4.
like decent mid-range to higher range spammable nuke.
I think it gets
But it
drafted.
really only goes on an int hero that is going to be spamming it. Like, I feel like you don't
I mean,
pick it
65
unless you're on
mana, though.
spellcaster.
It's only 65. That is bizarrely cheap.
But do you really want it on any role besides spellcaster core?
Probably not.
Exactly, so
You
it's
could
niche.
go offlane though with this. It's not that bad as your one nuke.
A little bit of creep cutting, I guess.
So where are we putting it? 3 to generally picks 3 to 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we can get to 1 to 2. So 3 to
No.
4, but high up.
What about 2 to 3?
2 to 3 is close.
Closer.
What? You're crazy.
I think 3 to 4.
Wild Axes is like it falls off a cliff, dude.
It does kind of fall.
You hit a bunch of heroes early lane, you're like, yeah, this is awesome, and then you get past minute 20, and it's like, oh, I tickled them for like
Yeah.
20 damage.
I don't know. It's
Alright.
percent pace damage per stack.
And we're not.
Not
that's-
reliable.
Yeah.
I'm tossing it here. I don't know. You could. Do you think it's better than Earthshock
Yeah,
or
I just
Slark?
put it over Ursh.
Yeah, put it there.
All right, over
Oh.
Earthshock. Next up, Rupture.
This is decent. It's kind of a decent alt that gets picked up. You get the eggs upgrade as well.
Yeah, if you're
No.
going like the
No.
raw Pulse Nova
No
build.
more.
No eggs.
Wait, what?
Never mind. All right, throw that out the window.
It is a new eggs for Blood Rage.
Scratch that, boys. This is lack of game knowledge showing
But there
itself.
is a facet.
Hover over it.
Ruptured units are pushed by your attacks.
Huh.
Very good.
50 distance.
Rupture is pure damage. It synergizes with displacement. You got like Rupture Skewer, Rupture Dispose, stuff like that.
Yeah, Rupture Spear.
Yeah, it usually goes like second pick, right? Like you're not first picking Rupture, but if there's like a couple decent alts that have been taken, this is like mid-tier alt, you take it relatively early just to have.
Can counter the enemy if they pick Thirst early and you take the Ruptured and throw it on them.
That is true.
Try
Yeah.
and counter them a bit.
Provides some if you don't have like a lot of lockdown. It is its own lockdown in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for
The
that.
enemy has Shapeshift, a good counter.
Yep, but you could always TP out.
You can't do that.
For the most part.
So you need a stun.
So it's better to draft if you have a reliable stun, because then you rupture someone and they panic TP and you just hit them with a magic missile or something. I still think it's generally picks 2 to 3 though. That being said, what do you guys think?
I'm fine with 2 to 3 because I'm not really
Yeah.
playing many games where I'm looking for this earlier than 2 to 3. It's kind of just like a situational, good in some games kind of alt.
Yep.
Yeah, it's better thrown on a melee core than a ranged core, because a melee is more likely to move around in a fight, so just keep that in mind.
Yep. Generally picks 2 to 3. I agree.
All right, Joel, one of your favorite abilities?
The skill shot of a lifetime. Now this ability will just can make your day when you hit like a max range arrow on someone and they're sitting there for 5 seconds not doing anything and your team kills them.
Oh yeah.
So
Sacred
pretty
Arrow
good.
wins games sometimes.
But it's hard to hit. We've seen lobbies where people have disruption Sacred Arrow and literally miss it every single time, which is hard to believe, but we've seen it. We've been against people that have disruption arrow and they'll literally miss it every single time. So you kind of have to know. I've been throwing arrows since 2013, so you know you kind of have to have you gotta get a
You gotta
game
have a
sense
feel
for
for
it.
the speed speed. You gotta know how to lead the arrow.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's a few nice combos like hook. Of course, hook arrow, that's a classic combo. You hit the arrow, then you hook the guy as he's stunned. If you guys need to, you can always get the Yules or the Atos to set it up. If you need the crutch, we won't judge you. Joel might, actually, if you need the crutch.
I think Atos is OP with this.
Yeah, no, it's a long hold and definitely a good stun. I think it's probably generally picks
1 to 2.
1 to 2. It's hard because
we're gonna throw arrow way up, are we?
We like arrow. It's like our hook bias,
I do like
right?
it. I do like it.
5 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, if you hit a stunned, I remember that one game where Joel hit an arrow on Luna in between all of her mirror image illusions, and it was like a 4-second stun on their big carry, and we just full to 0.
Yeah, it has the impact of like a primal roar on one target if you hit a long range arrow. Basically.
Helps you gank. It's really nice to bring it mid early and just start chucking arrows and being mean to the guy who's playing mid.
Yeah, I'm fine with 1 to 2 actually.
I think it's below the reliable stun though.
You think it's worse than Concoction? I'd put it above.
Really?
Yeah, Joel? I think Concoction's not that good.
I would put it above Concoction. I would rather have arrow than Concoction any day.
What about Napalm?
I think Napalm's too good.
I think it's fine to stay like that. Yeah.
All right, next up is Devour. I don't think any of us like Devour, honestly.
It's because half the people that we see take Devour just grief us, don't do anything because they just sit there and farm, and we just lose the game, and they basically have 0 impact.
You get the gluttony facet now. That's a relevant thing.
It is big.
You can actually get a decent amount of value just like going and consuming like a Swiftness Aura early, or like the Kobold, or going and eating a Alpha Wolf in the mid to late game.
It's a classic.
The GPM, if you're that type of gamer and you don't want to have an ability, you'd rather have gold, this is the ability for you.
Yeah, if you want to farm it up.
Now that being said though, I think it's generally picks 2 to 3. I don't really think it's that valuable to take early.
No, it's not as good as it used to be. It's not as much gold.
Also, don't pick it with rearm, guys. I've made that mistake. It doesn't work. You cannot get Devour rearm.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Devour used to also give you health, right?
HP regen, yeah.
No, it doesn't.
I think it's below Rupture.
Yeah, below Rupture.
Yeah.
I like Rupture.
Me too. Next up, Metamorphosis.
This is a big ability.
Oh yeah, this is a juicer.
This is a big one.
600 attack range.
I just want to point out, guys, recently I had a Lena model with split shot Metamorphosis, and I got 126,000 damage. We still lost, but
that was an insane game.
That was a display of meta just unlocking the Lena model, and I could hit from my Ancient basically to the high ground stairs. So
that literally was like one of the more powerful ranged models combinations I've ever seen.
Split shot meta.
It looked insanely powerful.
It did. Yeah. It felt insanely powerful to play. Still lost. Just want to point that out again. Yeah, this is a great Ags too. I really like the Terror Wave. It lets you have a little more scaling once you get a little mini meta. It is kind of bait, I think, for a lot of people because they see meta, they take it immediately just because they don't want the enemies to have it maybe, and then they don't end up doing as much because you are sacrificing a lot in your kit to have this long cooldown. It's basically an ult.
It is basically
on your main ability. So I do think it's first pick / deny pick, maybe insta pick.
I think it's first pick / deny pick. I'm not quite an insta pick, but you could probably convince me.
I don't know if we have Chemi Rage in insta pick. This is close. But I think I'm fine with first pick.
Oh boy.
Meta, I don't know, you guys think it's insta-pick?
Yeah, it's close.
Very close.
Insta-pick.
Range,
or first pick.
Range 600 at max level is just cracked on any ranged hero. Even if you get it on a melee hero, it's pretty insane. The base attack time is kind of relevant, though. Sometimes it's annoying.
I think it could be insta-pick.
I think it could be low in insta-pick. We might be kind of overrating it a bit, but I think it's really
It's
strong.
really like a win con, though. You know how we talked about that win con thing, right? Like, the philosophy still applies from our Matrix. That's no longer relevant, guys.
But you do
go dislike that video.
There's still some good information in there.
That is true.
Yes, definitely watch the Matrix video. There's good information, but it does feel like something that people have to play around. You know, the timing, because the cooldown is so big, it does also cause that. But the next ability, also pretty strong ability. We see it almost insta-picked.
Yep.
Whether it should be, you guys are about to find out, and that's Thirst. Thirst, you know, obviously picked up every game pretty early, probably within the first. If it goes past the first draft,
something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong. So we already know.
Sleeping.
Yeah, we already know it's at the very top of this board, but
I don't think it makes it to insta-pick because
No.
it doesn't give you any natural scaling. It doesn't give you that win condition. You could take it sometimes just on a support hero to have it because the visibility health threshold is just like that good.
Yeah, and the move speed is just
And the
insane.
move speed is nuts, yeah. There is also the oh, I guess it's not a facet anymore. But like he used to be able to supercharge it. Remember on Bloodseeker?
yeah, you click it. And
Yeah, that used to be decent.
But
Which made
that
it
doesn't
higher.
exist.
So it's probably a little bit worse. than it was.
Yeah, it's just that vision and speed. That's all you're getting.
I remember in the old days, guys, Thirst used to be a 50% visibility health threshold. Do you remember those days, boys?
The most OP hero ever.
That's so
Now it's 25. How the kings have fallen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put in first pick / deny pick.
Yeah,
I don't think it
yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
No,
to me.
that's a.
I think
that's
it's
a
going
good
to get
spot.
shoved down pretty far in
Agreed.
the first pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Chaos Bolt. Now this is actually it's got that new facet where it splits, I believe, right?
Cloven Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw I think it was Bet Boom Save that was playing Pause 4 CK going the Chaos Bolt split. Basically like a free magic missile shard.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty sick.
Obviously this is kind of a weird stun because it's like very slow and the maximum stun / minimum stun kind of makes it varied.
RNG a little bit.
Yep, but I think it's a very high quality stun, especially
Yeah.
in lane.
It's really strong in lane.
Mhm.
Does a lot of damage.
Pretty low cooldown.
Cooldown relatively low. There is a shard that exists, but it is very low impact. I think because you have to
Yeah.
have Phantasm for it to work. So
No.
it's basically irrelevant. But there is a shard.
I think it's if you want to throw it in the like good stuns, generally picks 1 to 2 next
Yeah.
to unstable.
Yeah,
I put it above unstable
for
Yeah.
because
sure,
of the new
yeah.
facet, and it's just more reliable.
Is it better than the Sacred Arrow?
Low key, it could be.
Low key because of
think
the
it is.
reliability
I think
and
it
the
is.
new facet. I bet you it is. The new facet pushes it over. Without the facet, it's probably worse.
There you go, guys. Take it if you need a facet. Second round, you're like, don't have one yet? Snap it up.
Well, speaking of facets, does Shadow Walk have one? I don't know. All I know is the Shadow Walk buff. They made the cooldown of on the teammates when you use Shadow Walk
The Friendly
half-
Shadow.
half as much. So that's a pretty big buff.
That's right. It's called Friendly Shadow. That's right. The Egg
That is-
Shard.
that
There you
is.
go. Yeah, it's I don't know. Shadow Walk is like a third pick spell to me that you get on like a either support or range carry.
Maybe.
Maybe a melee carry. It's like positioning.
Yeah.
It's just a Shadow Blade basically.
So
I
what you're
rarely-
saying is you pick fifth because you've already picked your model, you've picked your 3 abilities, and you're picking this fifth, basically.
I don't think it goes to 5th. I think it's 3 to 4.
I could see it 4 to 5, probably better, but I think it does get scooped up earlier. Probably
It
just
definitely
more
gets
impact.
scooped up earlier.
It might not be worth like it might be a 4 to 5 ability, but it gets picked up 3 to 4.
I think 3 to 4. It's not terrible.
They added a stun to it, which is like
The
pretty
stun
big
is
buff.
true.
relevant.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Wild Axes.
Wild Axes is too high, anyways.
Agreed. Next up, Shuriken Toss.
Kind of was going hard when we saw it in our one game.
Yeah, it's spammable. And, ooh, there you go. There's a new facet on there. Through and through. Shuriken Toss applies its damage and slow to all enemies it passes through. Didn't know that existed.
Yep.
Also the eggs as well.
Oh, yeah.
Increases the cast range and applies Janata on hit. So
Yep.
you have to have Janata for that to do anything, but
And if you have the track, it bounces.
yeah.
So you basically, if you want to play Bounty, you pick Shuriken Toss, Janata, and track.
You have to pick.
Have fun.
Yeah.
I don't think Shuriken Toss is that good. I
It's
think
pretty
it's
poor.
it's either last pick or situationally reasonable. What do you
Yeah,
think, Sean?
It's just a weird single target nuke. 5-second cooldown. It's a really low cooldown.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's quite low mana.
But I think it really falls. The 525 cast range at max is horrifically small.
That is
Yes.
true.
You have to be
So
on
it is a really short range. I'd
I
put
think
it.
last pick.
You want to go right down?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it doesn't get drafted some.
I think
games.
last pick's fine. Yeah, it's not a very good ability.
last picking the Shuriken. Yeah, I could see
You could
it.
even throw it in situationally reasonable alongside Spark
Let's not
Wraith.
get too far.
I'm just saying, those are similar abilities.
Yeah.
Spark Wraith, we really put in the gutter.
Yeah.
That was before we added the category.
That is true. We did add these after
Maybe we
the
should
fact.
move Spark Race to
All
Spark
right,
Wraith should be
it could go
behind.
last pick.
There we go.
How about that?
Yeah, or, yeah.
The next.
Whew. Ogre Magi model. Wow.
This is a pretty
Very
good
strong.
model.
Very
One of the
strong.
best melee carries in the entirety of the game.
He's a beaver.
Solely based off of mainly his talents, right?
Oh yeah.
And his 4.2 strength gain is a little
Casually.
high.
Yeah, so if you guys want that 80 damage talent at level 15 and that 30 strength talent at level 20 just to absolutely shuck some kids, pick the Ogre.
Yeah.
He's like one of the highest base armor heroes in the game as well, so he's just early game an absolute juiced unit. He can last hit like it's free. He's got a nice animation.
Yeah, he hits really hard. Nice animation.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the highest win rate melee models in the entirety of AD.
Probably close.
Yeah.
Learning curve, it does exist. Does
no
it
one,
work?
No one.
It
thinks
does
that.
work. I've had it, yeah.
Okay, we think it works then.
It does.
It'll be, I don't know if it's viable.
No, it has no effect past the third.
Well,
level.
no, because you do get your 15 or your level 15 talent, level 14, you get your 80 damage talent, early. You get your 30 strength early.
Yeah.
If you have no facet,
it's better
you can take learning curve.
Yeah.
But most of the time you want something that's better.
So are we going, how high are we going with this? Are we going right up?
I think it's maybe first pick. Maybe generally picks 1 to 2.
It's probably first pick.
I think first pick's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
not insta pick, but first pick.
I think it's above.
It's hard because he's a melee hero, but
Yeah.
usually you want to play a ranged hero, but he's just a really high quality melee core hero.
Yeah, I think he's one of those rare melee heroes that sometimes you even pick it over a bad ranged carry.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, next up, Grow. Good combo with Ogre Magi.
Yeah,
actually.
you get Ogre with Grow, you're going to be hitting
hard.
people really hard. So Grow, though, I'm not a huge
Got
fan
nerfed.
of this spell, honestly. The attack speed reduction of 35%, and you're only getting 15 armor at max level. It's
They
not
really
the same.
neutered it, eh?
The bonus damage, 165. It does give you a good amount of damage, but
That attack speed percent-based damage reduction really just nerfed the crap out of Grow when they made that change. It used to be really good, and yeah,
question
now it's
is,
quite weak.
do you gain insurmountable when you draft Grow? No.
I don't think
I don't
so.
think you
Sorry,
do.
that isn't, no, that wouldn't
I think that's tiny model, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it would just come with the tiny model. For some
I think it would have it in the ability if it had
Yeah,
it.
it
You
would.
know. I think Grow's kind of.
You can
Kinda
grief your
weak.
build.
Yeah.
You could, but we've seen it go hard at like Astral Step Grow, so Tree into Protector Grow. You know, there's some pretty good combos. Ogre, obviously, as we mentioned earlier. I think it would probably go 2 to 3.
Maybe less, honestly.
Ability of
I think
model.
2 to 3 is fine,
You pick
though. Like,
Grow
it's
there.
not...
Get like Sleight of Fist or something that lets you hit reliably and you don't have to actually do your 35% based auto attack.
Yeah, I think it's still fine, like third pick. So 2 to 3,
or 3 to
pretty low.
Bottom 2
Bottom,
to 3.
I'm fine with that.
All right, next up is Track. I like
All
Track.
these bounty spells.
Yeah, we're getting through bounty.
Man.
I was trying to random them, guys, but there's some clumps. I apologize. You know, what can I say?
Track's a good team spell. Good for the team.
It is.
You know, really good for your team. If they're obviously in games where it's a vision game. If you have Track on your team, you guys are almost always going to be coming out on top.
Yep.
So that's a good thing to look out for.
You get a decent amount of damage amp, decent amount of self bonus gold if you're trying to get a bit, you know, ganky and snowbally. Track's really annoying. I feel like every time I play against Track, I'm ending up buying a Dispel just to get rid of Track. Yeah, it lasts 25 seconds.
Only 4-second cooldown to apply to you again after you dispel yourself, so pretty good.
But is it something that you're taking early? Probably not.
No.
Usually you want your ult to have a little more impact. So
Unless they pick Cloak and Dagger, you're probably...
yeah, that's true, guys. You know, if you ever want to counter the person who first picks Cloak and Dagger because they're stuck in 2016, there you go.
Sleep Dart not a thing anymore, guys. Sorry.
R.I.P. Sleep Dart. Pour one out for my homie. I think it's generally picks 3 to 4. I don't know. You could do 2 to 3, but like,
You'd
I'd
have to
say
do
3 to
some
4.
weird,
yeah.
3 to 4, you
Killing
pick this as your alt when all the alts are been picked.
Yeah, take 3 good stuns as your basics. Take Track, then take your support hero model.
Yeah.
Seems about right. I think it's below Slark, but above Shadowwalk.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yep.
I think it's fine.
Next up is Thunderclap. Pretty weak. This goes undrafted in like 90% of the games it's in, unironically.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just a melee range damage of 320. Movement slow is a lot.
Not reliable.
But low level 1.
Yeah.
Not much impact in lane.
Falls off really hard in the late game. I think it's in situationally reasonable or unpicked.
Are we putting it? Wow.
Well, it doesn't get picked. Like, I swear to God, in most of the games that
It
we
really
see
doesn't.
it in,
So
it's
let's,
not
let's,
chosen.
Let's trash it.
Yep. Last
Trashed.
trash.
Get it outta
Actively
here.
bad. unless
Sorry,
pairing.
Thunderclap.
What are we pairing Thunderclap with?
Nothing.
So then it goes in griefing.
Nah.
Well, it's actively bad unless
it's,
pairing.
it's also just unpicked, though. It's not griefing if you take it.
So
you
then
can still secure creeps in lanes.
So it's situationally reasonable.
Well, it's just unpicked. That's why it's in the unpicked category.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's leave it there.
I'm fine with that. Unpicked.
Next up, Cool Spray.
Well,
All right, guys, Cool
combo
Spray,
piece.
you know, you take it before the bristleback. Don't do
Yes.
it the other way around, please, for the love of God.
Here's a good tip, guys. They have added autocast to Quill Spray.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically irrelevant, but that's a kind of a fun tip. Thanks, Val. Thank you for doing that, Val.
All the
So,
bristle spammers.
If you're forgetting to spam your W button for Quill Spray, you can autocast.
I don't know. Quill Spray is basically you're either playing it with Aftershock, you're either playing it with Bristleback to get the Aghanims, or you're not really interested,
No.
right? It's got a decent amount of physical damage, but it really requires you to invest in the ability.
It's really just a combo, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it way down in situationally bad unless pairing? Yeah.
Or
let's
is it
just-
actively bad unless pairing? Because you
That's
don't.
what I was gonna say. I think it's actively bad unless pairing, honestly.
Is it though? I feel like
It's
it gets
really-
picked
oh.
up every single game.
All right, maybe I'm being
It gets
too harsh.
drafted every
I'm being too
single
harsh,
game.
actually. Put it back up.
It gets drafted every single game though.
Yeah, but it's usually a deny pick.
It is usually
Yeah,
a deny
but
pick.
it's but is it I picked fourth? No, it's usually like a third pick, deny, pick. Second time, sometimes you just don't want the guy that has bristleback to get it. So it's always picked pretty high up in the draft. At least by the 4th round, it's probably gone.
But putting that deny pick aside, it's situational.
Let's bump it up a little bit. I think we're good. Yeah.
Last pick?
I think Joel's argument's
Pick 4 to 5?
convincing me to get up there a bit. Yeah. Let's go 4 to 5.
All right, fine. We were about to trash.
We were kind of. Yeah. We're
You guys
trashing.
can thank me in the comments.
Sorry, bristleback players. Yeah.
Next up is viscous nasal goo.
Okay, we can put that one in the fucking trash.
Can we though?
Yes, it gets undrafted a lot of the times.
Snot Rocket.
1.75.
Snot Rocket being given
It's
when you draft it is
unpick-
actually
It's not bad.
it's not terrible. It makes it possibly pickable.
Pick it with aftershock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pick it with Aftershock.
Pick it with bristleback to get the whatever. When you get damaged, you
Yeah,
send
this-
out the snot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like when someone takes your quill spray after you've taken bristleback first. You'd take nasal goo to get a pairing.
Yeah.
So that it actually does something.
So I think it's actively bad unless pairing. Or situationally.
I think it's actively bad unless pairing.
It's just not a very high impact ability.
Yeah. Even with the Snot Rocket, it's still not enough.
Yeah, speaking of bad abilities, here we got another bristleback, guys. Here's the clump. Sorry. It's Warpath. Seeing red. Are you seeing red with your Warpath?
Hopefully not. I don't know. It's just a terrible facet, I feel like. If you're not literally playing a stock bristleback, it's basically irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Warpath's bad.
It's unpicked a lot of
No
the
one
time.
picks Warpath.
So
and everybody
probably
can agree with
unpicked
that.
actively bad unless pairing. And
Yeah.
you're pairing it with Bristle's other spells that he spams.
Yeah, he's a little parasitic, eh? This design of this hero, it really only works with his other stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right, next up is Spawn Spiderlings.
Now
Also-
this
This is an insta pick.
is high up there, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, this ability kind of sucks unless you have webs, because all your fucking spiders stack on webs, and they do not if you don't have webs. So
Yeah, it becomes terrible.
this is a last pick alt when there's nothing left besides like Song of the Siren and Fiend's Gate.
Maybe, yeah. Even then, it's so bad.
You're picking this over Warpath though, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's at least what, last pick. That's what we're talking about right now. You pick
It
as
is a last
alt.
pick ability,
It's a
I'd
last
say.
pick. It's better if you have webs. Maybe it could be a 3 to 4, but you could probably just wait till 5th because no one else is going to pick
Just
it.
sandbag it.
Yeah, so
It's
I
your
think it's a
final
last
pick,
pick.
yeah.
And it's probably a good last pick compared to what we have there.
Yeah, throwback to when you could get the Bloodthorn and cheese the shit out of kids with Spawn
That
Spiderlings.
was crazy.
And like one-shot somebody in like half a second, but that is no longer, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Spin Web. Wow, Spin
Spin
Web.
Web.
Wow, used to be amazing. Wow.
Yeah, now it's basically just giving you that free movement, being a little rat hiding in the trees. You know,
Sean is
I'm
looking
just
up
making sure if Bloodthorn was changed or not.
it should work still to
Yeah,
all
from your
attacks.
controlled units. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if they actually completely reworked it a little bit there.
All right, go on webs. I need to read this stuff.
We got Necrotic Wedge facet.
So,
Oh, that's true, actually.
So it is.
But they nerfed the crap out of that when it was broken.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't
true.
do that much.
Can't
It's
put it in the enemy fountain anymore, guys. Sorry.
yeah.
That was good design.
70% reduction at max, which is pretty large,
That
but
is quite high. Also, throwback to when it worked with Aftershock, you get 10 charges.
yeah, that was sick.
I don't think it works anymore, though.
No, I don't think it does either. It's still kind of a fun ability to have, though, to run around in the tree line and just kind of cheese around.
It's just like such a rat little griefer pick. Like
It
somebody
is.
takes this, gets Meteor Hammer and like Demonic Conversion or whatever, and they think they're ratting the whole
Yeah,
time and they never
oh.
join.
If you draft this spell, all of a sudden they just tunnel into the complete rat mode.
Yeah.
And just go split push only. And really, you don't have to do that with this spell, but people do that every single time.
It's I don't know. Still probably generally picks 1 to 2 though. I think people take this shit real early. It's never us. Like
No.
this is like one of those abilities where we don't rate it as highly as the rest of the community for sure.
I had it on a pause 4 support build once recently,
yeah.
and it wasn't terrible. Sitting in the tree line with a long range hero, just harassing the enemy from the trees.
It
It's
used
kinda-
to be so much better
kinda
when it
fine.
gave you regen, though.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
so true.
like now it has no sustain on it. Before it was
No.
like you pick this up and you're sustaining and
It's
laying.
just movement.
Yeah, now it's just movement and the vision and I guess
Bonus
a little bit
turn
of
rate.
Yeah,
Whoa,
oh, God.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think it's probably generally picks what 3 to 4.
Whoa,
2 to 3?
no way.
Let's not get too low with
It's
that.
still 1 to 2.
Let's go 1 to 2.
But
Pretty,
it's
I think it's
far
base.
out.
1 to 2.
Oh, people love this ability.
They do love it, but
Everyone's like, free pathing? Wow!
in certain games it might be good.
Yeah, if you're Broodmother main and you know what you're doing and you actually take over the enemy jungle, good for you. If you're one of those people that's using it to Meteor Hammer the tier 2, I don't like you.
There we go.
All right, next up is Retaliate. It's all right.
Yeah, it's nothing insane. There's no facets. It's just straight up return damage.
It's like the first item you craft, the chainmail thing that returns 20 damage to
Oh,
the
the chip
attacker.
vest.
Chip vest. So it's basically a chip vest at level 2.
Who's happy to see Chip Vest back in the rotation?
Oh, I am. That's awesome.
It's not bad.
Retaliate's the chip vest on steroids. So
Yeah.
is it worth an ability? Maybe if you pick it
Meh.
up last on a strength
Exactly.
hero. So it's like generally picks 4 to 5 or a last pick on your strength hero support or
Agreed.
semi
Yeah.
core.
Don't get baited and pick it early just because you already have a strength model or something.
Yeah, you got reactive armor, you got corrosive haze. You want that Retaliate?
Corrosive haze?
Or corrosive skin. I know you want to have 3 tank passives. Go ahead on the last pick. buddy.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Stampede.
Well, this is a hard ability to use because workhorse.
It's really sick though. I really like this.
We've seen some really good stuff with workhorse. We've seen it actually pop, but we've also seen a teammate draft it and use workhorse, no lie, 15 times and never once put someone on it, and he's just running around the fight like a chicken with his
He's
head
just
cut
using
off.
it as like his own personal movement speed bonus and
Yeah.
never picking up a teammate.
But if you're playing with Stampede in a call and you can go like, use it now or whatever, like it's better because it's
Yes.
like that whole global effect. And
Yep.
I think it's really strong.
I think it's good.
yeah, it
coordinated.
also pairs really well with range carries because you can like throw a Muerta like in your wagon for like 8 seconds. They're invulnerable.
They're literally invulnerable and running around at haste, killing everybody.
Also, there are some lobbies where you'll have like a lack of stuns and it'll only be slows and stuff like that, and then Stampede gets nutty because
Yeah.
then they have nothing to really stop your initiation. You know, maybe they throw like a slow on your team, boom, Stampede, you're at haste rune. It doesn't give a but
I think this build is underrated.
I think it generally picks 3 or 4.
You're kidding.
No.
I was going 1 to 2 with this.
What? Joel, tell me this guy's not on crack.
I think 3 to 4. I don't think you're picking
Then
this.
we can meet in the middle here. 2 to 3 sounds great.
Fine.
What
It's
did
better
you-
than Grow, I guess.
I think it's better than Grow. I think it's
Yeah,
It's not as good
better
as
than
Rupture.
Devour almost. Rupture, it's close. Your whole team gets haste.
it is true.
Yeah.
If you have team fight and you like need something like this, it's
Good
really good.
It's good
Communication
gap
and
close.
coordination with this spell is really strong.
Sean, this is for you.
3 to top of 2 to 3.
Put it above
Yes.
Rupture.
Yes.
All right, let us know in the
For all
comments.
those Centaur mains, man.
There you go. Yeah, Sean's Centaur is on our screen right now. Looks juiced as shit
Yeah, man.
with
The
this
stats
set.
is just juiced.
There we go.
68% win rate,
Wow.
guys, on Centaur. 50 games. Easy money.
Easy. Well, if you need something to get in and out of fights, Waveform.
There you
The
go.
next ability could be your pick. It's pretty
Waveform
good.
goes early.
Oh yeah, almost. It won't make it through the second draft because the person that picked their range hero model or range carry ability will just pick this
Yeah.
on the way through if it's not picked.
It's got some weird stuff with the morph facet or something. I don't know
The
how
ebb.
it really works.
So it attacks enemies in its path, but does not apply on-hit effects. So they basically
They got rid of his talent.
they've switched it up a bit. So Morphling has been changed pretty substantially in the recent patches.
Yeah, he's really good in pro games, and that's just like kind of throws him under the bus.
Ebb. If you pick Ebb, it now
Yeah.
attacks all
In
targets.
7.38 is when they kind of changed it. So I don't know. It's fine. It's good mobility.
Makes you go invulnerable. You can disjoint some stuff.
Yeah, disjoint stuff,
You can go up hills.
up hills.
This is. I feel like this is another one of those abilities where we don't ever pick it, and our team or the enemy team always does.
Always gets it.
Yeah.
Enemy always gets Waveform.
They take it like picks 1 to 2, and we're like, meh. Waveforms, meh.
It's really not that great for like aggressive damage now.
No.
Because you have to pick the facet up if you want to get the attack.
So what are we thinking?
I generally picks 2 to 3.
I think it's 2 to 3 is probably fine.
People will probably think it's 1 to 2 though.
Yeah, I feel like people are gonna think it's like.
Is it better
1 to
than
2.
Devour?
We don't have
Yeah.
much movement on this board.
I like it above Devour. I think it's decent.
Like near Stampede.
Definitely not above Stampede, but
Sean, why are you so high on Stampede? What
I
the
think
heck?
it's powerful, man. Super powerful.
Yeah.
A well-timed Stampede can win you fights.
All right, we're gonna stop there, boys.
Yeah, that looks like a good spot to stop. We've done 30, I think, abilities. A little intro, a little taste for you guys. We're gonna do more. There'll be more to come. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna do our best. I will myself if Valve puts in another update that affects AD this much and we have to restart this board. They definitely will not.
No, Valve is not going to update AD for another 5 years, guys. This is all we get.
Yeah, maybe 8.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
But this is a time to get your friends who haven't played AD into AD because the skill levels are kind of flattening because of this meta change. So, you know, if you ever wanted to bring your homies that are playing ranked or all pick or turbo into the fold, now is the best time to do that.
It's never been a better time, guys. Get into it. Get into the AD grind. You'll see us there. Thanks for watching.